Well, Janelle, we have a sequel that has just been announced. Blake Lively is returning to our screens sooner than you think. Plus, Armie Hammer is dishing on what it was like working with Blake Lively on the set of Gossip Girl and why he had to quit. Say what? And if you missed Amber Heard, don't worry, because her attorney is coming out in defense of Blake Lively, as if her case couldn't get any worse. Let's dive in. You're listening to No Filter with Zack Peter, your go-to source for all the latest pop culture and reality TV tea, served fresh all week long. Now, let's dive in. Welcome on in, everybody in the club. What's up, everybody? How is your Wednesday going? How's everybody doing? I love it. I love it. I love you. Let's get it, get it, get it. Let's get it. Yeah, let's get it. Ooh, let's get it. Let's get it. Let's get it. Yeah, let's get it. Ooh, yeah. How's everybody doing? I hope you're having a great week thus far. I hope you're living your best life. Oh man, I was on the X, and on the X, all the people in the club we're talking about Eileen. Remember Eileen from the Amber Heard trial? The Heard versus Depp defamation case that she lost? Well, Eileen, who represented Amber Heard, has come out in defense of Blake Lively. And she's saying that Blake Lively, I'm just like, lady, shut up. You literally lost the case for Amber Heard. You think you coming out and defending Blake Lively against Justin Baldoni, you think that this is helping? Like, who booked you? Who was like, oh yeah, let's get the lady that lost the biggest case of the 21st century. Let's go to her and let's get her to weigh in because she's got such a great track record, right? When everybody's already comparing Blake Lively to Amber Heard and everybody already thinks that Amber Heard is such a joke, what makes you think, oh, let me go book Elaine, the lady that tanked the case? She said, Justin Baldoni is in danger of getting his case dismissed. Blake Lively had no motive to make the allegations public. It's Baldoni who appears guilty for retaliating on a case of public concern, says former Amber Heard attorney Elaine Charleston Bredehoft. I'm like, lady, Blake Lively has no motive. The motive is clear. She's trying to rehab her image. It's so crazy to me when people that have no idea what they're talking about when it comes to this case, like, love to come and just like comment on it. I'm like, what do you mean she has no motive? What do you mean Justin Baldoni is retaliating against these allegations? He's defending himself because the allegations he claims are false. And guess what, lady? If you look at the info that he's released thus far, raw footage from the set, voice notes, text messages, photos from the basement, like all of that stuff only corroborates his side of the story. We don't have anything that corroborates her side of the story. We have no hidden voice notes. We have no hidden footage that she captured. None of that. And then his attorney said that because New Jersey is a single party consent state, he claims that they have voice recordings coming after WME, Jones Work PR. We talked about, WME's connection to all of it, right? WME represents Blake Lively. WME represents Ryan Reynolds. WME represents Brandon Sklenar. WME represents, who else do they write? Taylor Swift. WME, the partner, is married to Stephanie Jones of Jones Work PR, who's also spearheading this and is the one that gave all of the text messages to Blake Lively's team, which were then leaked to the New York Times. Huh. Doesn't he have a billionaire legal backer? Yes. Justin Baldoni has Steve Sorwitz, who is a very wealthy man, very, very wealthy, and has planned to donate billions of, I think, $1 billion to charity before he dies. She retaliated with Khaleesi and the Dragons when he didn't add her changes. Yeah. She retaliated by not signing her contract. Yeah. Marianne Stout says, Elaine, the losing attorney, she did a great job with Amber Heard. But yeah, like, here's the thing. When Amber Heard is coming to your defense, and Elaine is coming to your defense, it doesn't look so good for you, right? Nobody takes Elaine or Amber Heard seriously at this point after everything. It's just kind of wild. What is it about protecting plaintiffs before a judgment? I don't know. Brandon Sklenner, known as Timu Thor. Aw, he's a cutie. I would hit it, you know? Brandon Sklenner is a cutie. Don't drag him, even though he clearly picked the wrong side and looks like an idiot now. That's okay. We still love him, right? We listen and we don't judge. Elaine is a lunatic, needs her Xanax. Oh no. That's how far they had to go to find a Blake supporter. Yeah. Well, here's the crazy part though. The press is very much on team Blake Lively, which I mean is understandable, right? This is Hollywood. You're always going to protect the biggest star unless there's irrefutable evidence, which at this point, I'm still very surprised that people are trying to twist themselves into pretzels to defend Blake Lively. Because I'm like, what about her? Like, please genuinely tell me what it is that you are defending. You know, Mallory says, Zack, I'm getting my hoodie this weekend or early next week. I'm so excited. Yay, your Zack Pack hoodie. I'm wearing my Zacktivated tank today. So, guys, you can get your merch in the link down below. Hey, let's get it, get it, get it. Diane Power says, we judge, but we know you like red flag, Zack. I do. Oh my God, Zack's live podcast, fangirling here. Hi, Savannah. What's going on, Savannah? Elaine is like Juliet Harris. Juliet's been nice to me lately in the DM, so I won't drag her today. So we'll see. Dun, 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 dun. SL said Trump was convicted of RAPE in a civil case. Still, he was elected and nobody cared. Well, that's because he wasn't convicted, my love. Let's not conflict, you know. Let's not mix things up. He was found liable in a civil case. Yeah, we're not gonna get into Trump right now. The media's gaslighting us. They really are. Okay. So I want to start with, I guess we'll start with the sequel that has been announced, and then we'll get into some news interviews that have been making their way, aside from Elaine's, which I just saw this morning on Times Radio. And I was like, lady, shut up. Like, literally, nobody asked for this. Like, not like anytime you come up and people refer to you as Amber Heard's attorney, like nobody is like, oh yeah, let's take her seriously. Like literally nobody takes you seriously. Like find another client to represent that's high profile that you can, you know, save yourself from embarrassment from. But so anyway, let's talk about this. So we have get ready, guys, because Blake Lively is coming back on our screens sooner than you think for none other than Another Simple Favor, starring Blake Lively and Anna Kendrick. So interessante. So this film is going to be, they filmed it last year, so before the lawsuits, but after It Ends With Us. It says, another simple favor, even friendship has its twists. And sorry, spoiler alert, but was she alive at the end of it? Because the whole premise of A Simple Favor is Blake Lively's character is like this wicked witch and she ends up going missing. And then Anna Kendrick, who's like a mommy blogger, is like trying to track her down and trying to find out what happened to my new friend that's not my real friend, Blake Lively, right? How does A Simple Favor end? I want to say they never find Blake Lively. Like Blake Lively, like we don't know, is she alive? Isn't she alive? We just know she goes missing, and then we're assuming that she like faked her own death. Okay. Sorry, spoilers ahead. In A Simple Favor, Emily Nelson, played by Blake Lively, the seemingly perfect woman who faked her death, is ultimately exposed and arrested by Stephanie, Anna Kendrick, after she reveals that she was live streaming their confrontation using a hidden camera on her clothing, leading to Emily being sentenced to prison while Stephanie becomes a successful mommy vlogger. Sean moves on with his life as well. Oh, okay, so we did find her. Sorry, I haven't seen this movie in a very long time. Key points at the ending. Stephanie's hidden camera. The crucial twist is that Stephanie, a mommy blogger, was secretly recording the entire conversation with Emily using a tiny camera disguised as a button on her shirt. And then we get Emily's confession. When Emily realizes she's been exposed, she confesses to her crimes but attempts to shoot Stephanie before being apprehended. And the consequences. Emily ends up in prison while Stephanie capitalizes off of the situation by becoming a famous vlogger. Interesting. Very, very interesting. Okay, so then Blake Lively. Okay, so I would assume that this next film, okay, Another simple favor. It's called Another Simple Favor, but I call it A Simpler Favor, right? I just think A Simpler Favor is a better title. Another Simple Favor is an upcoming black comedy crime film. Uh-oh. They called it a black comedy. Remember when Diana Jenkins used that term and people were like, oh my God. And then people forgot that the terms black and blue comedy are often referred to dark humor. Nothing to do with race. Black comedy and blue comedy are commonly used terms. Well, I guess not as common anymore. Now that everything's racist, I guess we can't say black comedy anymore. But anyway, Paul Feig, Paul F-E-I-G, is that Feig? Fig? Directed by Paul Feig. It's a sequel to A Simple Favor. Anna Kendrick, Blake Lively, Henry Golding. Oh, was Henry in the first one? Oh, sorry. I was thinking, what's that other guy's name? I don't remember. I was thinking of somebody else. And a bunch of other people. We have Andrew Rannells, Bashir Salahuddin. We have Joshua Satine and Ian Ho reprise their roles from the first film, supported by Michelle Maroney. We remember Michelle Maroney when Khloe Kardashian was trying to hit on him on the Kardashians when they were, what was it, in Italy? For Kourtney's wedding, was it? Wow. Good memory recall. But so we don't, okay, the premise is a murder transpires at Emily's extravagant wedding to an Italian businessman in the island of Capri. So Emily, I guess, got out of prison. She's not in prison anymore. And she's getting married to an Italian businessman in Capri, Italy. Interesting, which now explains why Michelle Maroney's in. Remember, he looked like a fucking idiot because he was like, I believe Blake because she looked traumatized when she filmed A Simple Favor too. And everybody's like, nah, she's just a bitch. So anyway, A Simple Favor will be returning. So we'll get to that in a second. But A Simple Favor is going to be a direct to Amazon Prime film that'll be streaming May 1st, but it'll be debuting at the South by Southwest Festival on March 7th, I believe. So in just a few weeks, if you're going to be at South by Southwest, then you can check out Another Simple Favor, or as I like to call it, A Simpler Favor. And it's going to be on Amazon Prime May 1st. So if you're just on the edge of your seats and you can't wait, then get ready because it's coming faster than Blake Lively with no teeth. Okay. And everybody's been dragging Anna Kendrick in the Simple Favor. Or in the comments of the announcement, I believe on Amazon Prime when they announced it, everyone was commenting and they're like, love Anna Kendrick, but this is going to be a no. Sorry, Anna Kendrick, not going to watch this. Love me some Anna Kendrick, but this is the one film of Anna's that I'm not going to watch. So poor Anna Kendrick is probably going to have to carry the entire promotion of this film on her back because it's been a rumor that Blake Lively is not going to be promoting this film at all. Who knows? Maybe, maybe not. We'll have to wait and see. I don't know. A double favor, right? So, you know, Another Simple Favor. I wonder what Emily and Stephanie are going to do in this new film. Like, how is Stephanie going to come and help Emily now? Or is she on the hunt down after you? Da-na-na-na-na, da-na-na-na-na. Marianne Stout says she will not be saving the day. I'm going to watch this one. I'm curious. I want to watch it. I mean, if anything, it may be good. But so everybody's dragging Blake Lively in the comments, like hard dragging Blake Lively in the comments. So the director, Paul, he decided, oh, let me put out a tweet to defend her or a comment on Instagram. He responded to somebody. And Paul writes, I guess because they made a joke about like, oh, are we going to see, the director's cut or Blake Lively's cut because she takes over the productions of these films. And so Paul says, it's my cut. There's no other cut. Blake has been nothing but supportive and a dream to work with. She is the best and an amazing collaborator, and I'm her biggest fan. Just wanted to clear that up. Okay, thank you for clearing that up. We're going to add you to the list of Elaine and Amber Heard that are coming out in support of Blake Lively. Thank you, Paul. What would we do without you? What a glowing review for a man that doesn't want to tank his new film that's about to premiere. So yeah, we believe that. Hashtag believe Blake. Hashtag believe Paul. Yeah, I call bullshit. She probably, I don't know. I mean, listen, we've heard the rumors that he also denied those rumors, right? The rumors that Blake Lively and Anna Kendrick did not get along. So there are a few notable feuds. There's Blake Lively and Leighton Meester, right? Then there's Blake Lively and America Ferrera from Sister to the Traveling Pants. And then there's Blake Lively and Anna Kendrick. Like, those are the 3 biggest feuds that have been rumored, and they're all attached to Blake Lively. Like, we don't hear like, oh, America Ferrera is so difficult to work with on all of these films. You know, the cast of Barbie hated her. No, we don't hear these complaints about America Ferrera. We don't hear these complaints about Leighton Meester. We don't hear these complaints. I mean, Anna Kendrick, I think, may be a little icy. And so that's probably why there were conflicts between Anna and Blake. But for whatever reason, we've heard that the way Paul got them both to film this sequel is because he like practically begged them to come back and do this. And I'm pretty sure they got a nice little pretty paycheck. And so I would imagine, because it is a direct-to-streaming film, it's probably not going to bomb. It's probably going to do well. I think if this were a theatric release, people would not pay money to go see Blake Lively in this film. So, counting down the days until May 1st to check out Another Simple Favor. Por favor. No, thank you. I'm good. I'm gonna watch it, but I'm gonna be watching it with a very critical lens. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? You pick up what I'm putting down. But so, speaking of Gossip Girl and Leighton Meester, apparently Leighton, is that how you say it? Leighton Meester? I never watched Gossip Girl, and I wasn't that familiar with her. I didn't even know that she was a pop star. But so apparently, she is not the only one that Blake Lively had some issues with on the set of Gossip Girl. And we'll get into that in just a sec. But first, I wanted to give a little shout out to my pals at Factor. Shout out to Factor Meals for sponsoring this week's episodes. If you're ready to optimize your nutrition this year, get ready, because Factor has made chef-made gourmet meals that make it easy while staying healthy, right? Healthy, easy, convenient. They're dietitian approved and ready to heat in just 2 minutes so that you can feel full, right, and feel great and stay strong no matter what life throws at you. Factor arrives fresh and fully prepared, perfect for any active or busy lifestyle. You can lose up to 8 pounds in 8 weeks with Factor's keto meals based on randomized controlled clinical trials with Factor Keto. Results will vary depending on your diet and exercise, but it's definitely a great option to explore. With over 40 options across 8 different dietary preferences on the menu each week, it's easy to pick up meals tailored to your goals. Choose from preferences like Calorie Smart, Protein Plus, or Keto. Factor can help you feel your best all day long with wholesome smoothies, breakfast, grab-and-go snacks, and even more add-ons. My fridge right now is currently stocked with Factor juices that I can have a nice juice after my breakfast, fresh after the gym, because I'm on the Protein Plus plan. Delicious, right? So if you want to reach your goals with ingredients that you can trust and convenience that can't be beat, then give Factor a try. Eat smart with Factor. Get started at factormeals.com/nofilter50off and use code nofilter50off and get 50% off your first box plus free shipping. That's code nofilter50off. No filter, NOFILTER 50OFF. No filter 50 off at factormeals.com/nofilter50 off to get 50% off plus free shipping on your first box. Get it. Okay, let's talk about Armie Hammer. Hammer Time. That's his new podcast. It's called Hammer Time. And he's a snack, and I've always said I stand by it. I would let Armie Hammer nibble on a ribble of mine. He can nibble on a rib. But so he was on. So in a resurfaced clip from 2017, Armie Hammer was on Watch What Happens Live when Andy Cohen would tape it here live in Los Angeles. So back in 2017, Armie Hammer was a guest alongside Chelsea Handler when they filmed Watch What Happens Live here in Los Angeles. Remember, Andy Cohen used to take like a whole week where he would come to LA and pick a theater, and then people could get tickets and they would watch the live broadcast of the show. Well, this is a clip from the after show of Armie Hammer's episode where he was asked about who the biggest diva was on the set of Gossip Girl. Let's play the clip.
My question for Armie, on Gossip Girl, who was the biggest diva on set?
Biggest diva on set of Gossip Girl.
You can say it because it's so far away from where you are now. That show's over. I suggest that you do not pass on another question.
Thank you, Chelsea.
I wish I could take all of my passes back and use them all right
Really?
now.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Let me just say that was a tough show to film, and I I didn't end up actually filming all of the episodes I was supposed to because it was such a tough film.
Really? Literally, you said, get me out of this.
It was also like, get him out of here. Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So it just literally was that. Whose love interest were you?
I was Blake Lively's love interest.
You were?
Yeah.
Okay, well
Sounds
then.
like she was the problem.
It sure does, Chelsea.
No, that's not what I'm
That's
saying.
exactly what I was thinking.
Don't put words into his mouth.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because my foot is already there.
No, it is not.
No,
Hey,
yeah, continue. Sorry, it's your show.
no, please, you continue.
No,
I'm
no,
interested
go
in what
ahead.
you. No, I like
Sorry.
I need another drink.
it. Hey,
Okay, so that's Armie Hammer fumbling there when he's asked, who is the biggest diva on the set of Gossip Girl that you had to work with? If you guys are fans of Gossip Girl or you used to watch the show, I did not and have never seen a single episode. But as Armie Hammer reveals, he played Blake Lively's love interest. Armie Hammer, Gossip Girl. And I don't think he was on for all that long. Okay, it says Armie Hammer played Gabriel Edwards in season 2 of the TV series Gossip Girl. Gabriel was a con man who briefly dated Serena Vanderwoodson, played by Blake Lively. Gabriel first appeared in the episode Remains of the J. He last appeared in the episode The Wrath of Khan. So he was only in season 2. Interesting. Gabriel was a con man who met Serena at a bar called Butter. He left for Spain with Serena and his girlfriend, Poppy Lifton. Hammer was removed from the show after 4 episodes in season 2. Some claim that he was fired because he was fired for calling Blake Lively an insufferable blank in front of colleagues. Say what? Okay, so this is an article from Distractify. The latest tea has spilled on the ongoing Armie Hammer controversy. Dun, dun, dun. So what do we think the explicitive is? Interesting. So according to Distractify, Armie said his experience on the show, saying this was a tough show to film and I didn't end up actually filming all of the episodes I was supposed to because it was so tough. And then he says that he was removed. The rumors as to why Armie Hammer was fired from Gossip Girl because of Armie's interview with Andy Cohen and the suggestion that Blake Lively was the problem or reason Armie was fired from Gossip Girl. This led to many fans to believe that that is true. Even though no one confirmed or denied that Blake Lively got him fired from Gossip Girl, the rumors led to even more rumors. Instagram celebrity account Dumois posted screenshots of submissions claiming that Armie was fired because he called Blake an insufferable expletive in front of other colleagues. And so then we have, actually, I'm going to do a share screen so that you can watch, you can read this with me. But interesting. Okay, Distractify. Okay, let's go to Distractify. Over there. There we go. Okay. Let's get rid of that. Okay, it says, let's zoom in a bit. Armie Hammer, Gossip Girl. This is a message to Dumois. Now, obviously, I've been critical of Dumois in the past because they don't vet their sources. They kind of just publish anything, but let's see what this has to say. Message, anon, please. Everything's anon, please. Anon, please. But I've known one of the Gossip Girl EPs in Gossip Girl tradition. I'll refer to them as S since before it debuted. I can't spill that much tea, much as I'd like to, but can confirm that Blake Lively actually is super sweet and considerate, except for a roughly 2-year period in the middle of the show's run after she became a fashion muse for Lagerfeld and whatnot. S doesn't gossip much, irony noted, and is usually pretty diplomatic in terms of discussing allegations regarding casts, but told me at the time that Blake was being periodically difficult. The main problem child of the show was Taylor, however, and if anything, she acted much worse than anything I've seen reported. Also, texted S the details of your IG story about Armie and why he left the show. Can also confirm it was because he called Blake a bitch in front of a ton of people. Not sure if it was being a bitch, but Armie Hammer thought so. Right. So this message is saying they're not sure if Armie Hammer called her a bitch or said that she was being a bitch, but the word bitch was thrown out there. Bitch. S also wanted to make one point clear. They had no effing idea about Armie's dirty laundry at the time that had zilch to do with why he left early. S is just horrible by it as the rest of us. And then we have another Dumois post that says, Anon, please, regarding Blake Lively's behavior. I was working in the block this out, working in, okay, I guess that was the part of the production department that she was working on, or this person was working on, when Gossip Girl was running and Blake came in for the day for some options for a press event. Her publicist wasn't being the nicest, and she asked me to help her pull some selects instead. We spent the afternoon just talking love of cheeseburgers, private school uniforms, and how sweet her boyfriend was, Penn Badgley, at the time. She was so real and so nice. One of my favorite celebrity interactions. Wow. So people are here saying that they loved Blake Lively and she was great to work with. Armie Hammer was fired from Gossip Girl in 2009, but his dirty laundry is airing now. Okay, we now know that all of these allegations about the controversy surrounding Armie Hammer have since been put to rest. They've been disputed, or at least have been unsubstantiated. We weren't able to find any evidence. There were no charges that were ever brought against Armie Hammer. I believe that low-budget documentary that was put out about Armie Hammer, some of the claims in that documentary have since been disputed. So that's why he's trying to have his comeback moment now. He's got his new podcast called Hammer Time. So that's where we're at with Armie Hammer. Welcome to Reality says, watched you on Court TV, Pop Report, and now No Filter all in one day. I love it. Thank you. Yes, guys, there's a new episode of the Pop Report that's out right now. You can go listen and support the Pop Report. You can listen on Apple, you can watch on Spotify, and you can also watch on YouTube. On my YouTube channel, there is a link to the Pop Report YouTube channel, so you can go show it some love and support. Scotty says, Armie Hammer is king. Real Queen says, if Armie Hammer thinks Blake Lively is a problem, I think she should just give up. Russ says, Armie is hot. Armie is so hot. Like, what? Do you want to drink my blood? Please drink my blood. All of it. So he's a wannabe cannibal. Didn't they cancel Armie Hammer recently? No, that was back in 2021. I think they tried to cancel him, but again, just because he's a little kinky, right? Just because he likes to talk naughty. I mean, we see Blake does too, because she does no teeth. And she's like, I got a trick, no teeth. Watch where this ping pong ball goes. Boom. Well, I fucked up that joke. But anyway, you get the point. So yeah, Armie Hammer is an actual abuser. Actually, he's not an actual abuser because the allegations were not proven against him. They were just some weird text messages and some very wild KINKY. Like, he's a little kinky boots, but I don't think any of the allegations ever stuck. There were no criminal charges that were ever filed against him. I think it was also at that height of cancel culture, remember? So that was like the popular time to cancel everybody. But I think that's why there's so much attention on Justin Baldoni's case now, is because we've seen so many of these situations that have come forth and the media blows it out of proportion and they report it as if it's fact. And now, you know, we're in this new era where we're starting to question things, right? And starting to talk about waiting to see details come out before it's officially determined who's innocent and who's guilty. Kitschy says, even Armie Hammer didn't want to eat Blake. I mean, listen, but it sounds like it's true that she got him fired from the set of Gossip Girl. Laura says, Armie is all teeth. Like, Lively it does no teeth, and Armie Hammer is all teeth. Sue said, did you see Armie in Call Me By Your Name? Hot. Yes, I did. I wanted to be Timothée Chalamet in that movie. Give me the Timothée Chalamet. You ain't got to sleep with him. You're safe, my love. I would. Listen, I volunteer as tribute, you know? They were all consenting adults. Yes, Yanni, that's ultimately what was determined, that everybody that had an encounter with Armie, no matter how wild it gotten, it was determined that those encounters were consensual until the naughty DMs came out and we realized, listen, there's definitely no dispute that there was infidelity in his marriage. He definitely appeared to have cheated on his wife, but there was no proof that any of these allegations were non-consensual or, went beyond. He wasn't like actually eating people's ribs, right? He wasn't Jeffrey Dahmer. He's still a weirdo. Possibly, yeah, listen, you can judge him for being a weirdo. You can judge him for being a cheater, but, Irma says, Armie grew up with a super religious family. Sometimes they develop these types of kinks. Yep, kinky boots. Lynn says, Zach, just want you to know that you have saved my belief that podcasts can be real. Thanks for being yourself. And I agree 99% of the time. Love you. Thank you. Listen, all I know how to be is real. All I've been is real, right? That's just, I am who I am and I can't help it, And it gets me in trouble quite often, but at least I'm always going to give it to you 100. Did you already talk about Blake getting sued again? She got sued again today? What in the hell? Blake Lively. Did she really get sued again today? Oh, TMZ. Blake Lively sued by crisis PR firm in Justin Baldoni drama. Well, damn. Here I was thinking the story was going to be Armie Hammer, and we got a new Blake Lively. Another day, another lawsuit. PR company accuses her of defamation. Okay, let's do another share screen. That way you guys can read this live with me. Let's get it, get it, get it, get it. And throw them hips, girl. Bump, 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 bump. Let's go. You are my fire, the one desire. Okay. Street Relations Inc. Blake Lively's legal headaches are getting worse. The actress is now being sued by crisis PR firm for defamation in her ongoing legal battle with Justin Baldoni. TMZ has learned Blake Lively was slapped with a new lawsuit by Jed. Oh, fuck yes. Sorry. I'm excited, but hold on. I need to text Daily Dose of Donna. Jed Wallace is suing her. Fuck yes. Okay. There was a whole thing. Jed Wallace is suing Blake now. So there was this person that was going around that was trying to say like, ooh, look at Jed Wallace. So Jed Wallace is the person that Blake Lively's team is alleging was behind the astroturfing, that they claim that Jed Wallace was hired to take down Blake Lively in the smear campaign, right? Well, Jed Wallace, if you notice, wasn't mentioned in Blake Lively's lawsuit. He was mentioned he was one of the defendants listed in the CRD complaint that was filed in California. But once the lawsuit was put forth, Jed Wallace was not named in her official. He's not one of the defendants named in the lawsuit. And so people were like, ooh, it's probably because he's working with her and he's probably giving evidence of the alleged smear campaign. And they thought that this was like a smoking gun that was going to help Blake Lively. And I was like, you know what? That is really strange because Jed Wallace, again, he's like some cyber dude, right? He helps with, so they accused him of astroturfing, saying that Jennifer Abel and Melissa Nathan, who are the publicist and the crisis PR team person, Melissa Nathan, who was the head of the crisis PR, they claimed that they hired this guy, Jed, and his company to take down Blake Lively in the smear campaign and use this term astroturfing. What is astroturfing? Astroturfing is basically where you flood the comments with either positive, like the bots, right? Like if you watch Beverly Hills and Garcelle said that her son was being attacked in the comments. So that would be an example of astroturfing. And astroturfing can be used for positive comments or for negative comments. And so people will sometimes use astroturfing to have positive messages put out there, especially on positive content about them, because then that content, the algorithm would read as popular content, and then they would continue to put that content out there. That's why, I don't know if you've catched, but I've made jokes about how, this Blake Lively video just got 6 million views on Instagram. Thank you, Jed Wallace. And obviously, Jed Wallace, I don't believe, is actually astroturfing my content and boosting it for the sake of, I just think people are really interested in this case right now. But that was the allegation that Blake Lively and her team made, was that Baldoni hired Jed Wallace to astroturf negative videos about her in an untraceable way. And so now it appears that Jed Wallace is now he's fighting back. Lori M says Jed Wallace is a little shady with all the BAM stuff, but he could be in the right here. What did he do with the BAM stuff? Okay. So Blake Lively was slapped with a new lawsuit by Jed Wallace and his company, Street Relations Inc., after she named both parties alongside Justin Baldoni in her 2024 December CRD complaint for bad behavior relating to the filming of It Ends With Us. And then there are the text messages between Melissa, Nathan, and Jennifer Abel, some of which were omitted when Blake Lively allegedly leaked this to the New York Times, right? So we have a text message to Jennifer Abel that says, "Hi team, so far extremely limited pickup in the Daily Mail or Page 6. We'll continue to keep an eye out and send pieces as needed, but so far it's been steady coverage on pure speculation. We've also started to see a shift on social due largely to Jed and his team's efforts to shift the narrative towards shining a spotlight on Blake and Ryan. Again, we'll continue to send links and screenshots, but wanted to send an update in the meantime." And then from Melissa Nathan to Jennifer Abel, it says, Can I start a signal thread with you, me, and Jed, just in case you need him to connect you to Brian because they're very close. Wallace accuses Lively of falsely lumping his firm into these allegations she made against Baldoni and then sending the information to various media outlets, including Elle magazine. Despite the fact that Blake did not name Wallace or Street Relations in the lawsuit that she filed just days later, and he says the damage was done and the media continued to report that he had engaged in illegal activity. Wallace says Blake then doubled down on her conduct by asking a judge to authorize the taking of his deposition, but falsely accused him of being a subcontractor to a company called Tag to assist them in their unlawful retaliatory social combat campaign against him. So as you can see from these text messages, because they're saying that this proves that Jed Wallace was astroturfing to make Blake Lively look bad. However, if you read this text message, they say that the shift on social media is due largely to Jed and his team's efforts to shift the narrative towards shining a spotlight on Blake and Ryan. So Jed Wallace was used, however, it was not to negatively impact Blake Lively. It was to positively showcase Blake and Ryan as a power couple for the benefit of the movie, right? That's always been Baldoni's case with everyone that is being sued by Blake Lively. They've all said their intention and their strategy was to make sure that the film was successful, right? The film was successful. And so they wanted to make sure that they didn't tarnish Blake Lively's reputation. So it appears that they were doing this so that people, wouldn't pick up on how difficult Blake Lively was to work with. As a result of Blake's defamatory statements, Wallace says that he suffered millions of dollars in reputational harm with the projected loss to his company that exceeds another million. Blake's legal team called BS on the lawsuit, telling TMZ, "Another day, another state, another 9-figure lawsuit seeking to sue Miss Lively into oblivion for speaking out against sexual harassment and retaliation." Bitch, shut up. That's literally not what's happening. This is not retaliation for harassment. This is reactions, a response, a defense to the false allegations. My goodness. I hope this was a strategy with BF for Jed to sue on his own. Who's Bethany Frankel? I hope this was a strategy with BF. Who's BF? That's not Justin Baldoni, nor is that Blake Lively, nor is that Ryan Reynolds. Who the fuck is BF? Yeah, they're literally defending themselves. So, boom, 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 boom. Donna said, "I know, I posted about it a while ago. You were live. I'm covering it live now. Or I may do an emergency bonus episode." I've been teasing Donna because she keeps doing all these emergency bonus episodes. She's like, emergency bonus episode on a Saturday, part 1 and part 2. Oh, BF is Brian Friedman. Got it. Thank you, guys. Thank you. Just say Friedman. When you say BF, I'm like, what is BF? BF, if you watched White Chicks, means bitch fit. Oh, This lawsuit is relevant to the defamation claims, not SH. Blake Lively just keeps playing victim. Exactly. Jed Wallace suing her has not, Jed Wallace is not part of any retaliation against Blake Lively for false allegations of harassment, right? Jed Wallace wasn't harassed by her. Jed Wallace didn't harass her. Jed Wallace was not on the set of It Ends With Us. So Jed Wallace has no part in the alleged retaliation campaign. Marianne Stout says 1,100 people watching. Yes, guys, hit the like button if you're watching this right now and enjoying it. Okay, so that's the Jed Wallace lawsuit. That's the Armie Hammer fired allegations that came from Blake Lively from the set of Gossip Girl. Then next, I wanted to play this clip for you. And this is from NewsNation, okay? And so this is just how I want to show you how the media is covering this case. Let's play this clip.
The boss of the set be writing this? If she's alleging that he sexually harassed her, that voice note, is that a smoking gun?
I wouldn't call it a smoking gun. You know, the standard for hostile environment is severe and pervasive. One-off comment alone doesn't do it. There's different kinds of sexual harassment, quid pro quo, where you're trying to trade sexual favors for employment advancement, things like that. Hostile environment has to be severe and pervasive. Look, these are innuendo. You can read that a number of different ways. Obviously, it's not the best language in the world, and it leaves it open to that version of things, right?
Then going the other side, right? If he is able to establish that he was being bullied, that she was taking control of the film, does that mean that she wasn't harassed? Because he agreed to that 30-point list of demands from her on things that needed to change on the set when production resumed. You know, things like showing no nude videos or photos to Blake Lively. He's denied the allegations. But, you know, if he's able to prove she was in control of the set, how much of that is a win for his case?
Again, these are factual contentions within a broader legal framework, right? So in the defense of the sexual harassment case, I think the card that they will play is, look, we were dealing with what they've characterized as a very sort of mercenary, self-interested star. Right. And it was my film, my direction, and that's how it works, and it's verboten to play that card.
Yeah.
I think that what's critical to me, like coming down, like just very much Ken Turkel and looking at this, what do you do if you're Blake Lively? If it was that bad, Jesse?
Yeah, no, that's a good point.
You walk. You deal with the breach
she has
of
the power. She's an A-list star, has A-list backing.
Right.
I hear you.
She's
I hear you.
The big A-lister in it. So,
yeah, Ken, I wish we had a little bit more time. Really appreciate it. Thank you so much for coming.
We were just getting into it, Jesse.
I know. I need more time to break it down. Next time.
The voice filled. I'll come back. All right. Thank you for having me, man.
Okay, so here you can see this attorney that was brought onto NewsNation as an expert, similar to how they brought on loser Elaine, right, who defended Amber Heard and fumbled that ball in court and lost the defamation case against Johnny Depp. So this guy is clearly trying to go according to the law and what the legal definition is for harassment, right? It has to be pervasive. And so you can tell that the reporter very much on Team Blake, right? Very much like, oh, well, just because even if, you know, he claims that she was difficult on set, doesn't mean that she can't still be harassed. Remember, he agreed to the 30-point list. And it's like, hey, ding dong, if you actually read the details and knew the case, then you would know that Baldoni is denying agreeing to the 30-point list. They claimed that they agreed to a 17-point list that was presented on January 4th at this all hands on deck meeting that people were not expecting to be blindsided with these allegations from Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds, where Ryan Reynolds allegedly berated Justin Baldoni. But they've made it very clear that the list of 30 demands was not something that was ever presented to them until they saw it filed in the CRD complaint. It was only a 17-point list that has already been broken down. And they've already said a lot of these allegations never even happened because a lot of them are in reference to the intimate scenes between Blake and Baldoni. And those scenes weren't filmed until phase 2 of production. They showed us the production schedule. They show us a lot, right? And so phase 1 versus phase 2, phase 2 happened after this January 4th meeting. And so even at the end of it, Blake Lively agreed that there were no other issues on set at the completion of filming It Ends With Us. So that last month or so of filming, no issues came up, right? That 30-point list out the window. The 17-point list was already an issue because they claimed that there were items on that list that, you know, never even happened, that were standard procedures that were already put in place. But the way that it was worded made it seem a lot worse, right? So it was just interesting watching that NewsNation clip and seeing, you know, the agenda was to defend Blake Lively. And then the second that this attorney was not going in line with that narrative, we're rushing him right off the show. right? It was a very quick, like, oh, I wish we had more time, but we have to take you off. You're not saying what we want you to say. And so we immediately rushed that attorney off, which I just found interesting. So law and crime is biased towards Blake. It's interesting. I don't understand how some of these people are so like law and crime. Like there are a lot of other, I just don't understand where they're coming at it from. I mean, are people just that afraid to call out bullshit because it's a sexual harassment case? Like, is that really what we're down to? Like people are afraid to say the wrong thing because they want to go against the believe women narrative, which at this point, I'm sorry, but women, just like men, we're all capable of being dishonest and lying. And there has been absolutely zero evidence or zero proof that has backed up any of Blake Lively's claims of harassment, right? We have no evidence of harassment. And the evidence that we have in regards to the alleged smear campaign, it's very, what's the term? I don't know. It's lacking foundation. It's lacking any real thread that ties it together because we've seen that the text messages were taken out of context. Where Blake Lively's team in the New York Times reported that Melissa Nathan owned that she's the one that was behind the Daily Mail article about Blake Lively, which even if that were true, that article was about, I believe the article was, is Blake Lively canceled? And that article was in reference to the social media backlash that had been going on TikTok with the It Ends With Us promotional tour, right? The marketing plan. People had issue with how Blake Lively was marketing the film, with her alcohol beverage line, with her hair care line, with her bring your friends and wear your florals stuff, right? People were calling that out. So the Daily Mail article was about the social media reaction that people had. These are just regular people on TikTok, influencers, people with podcasts that were all talking about this. We were talking about it. We covered it on the Pop Report when it was going down in real time, right? So that Daily Mail article, what was left out of the text messages that were published in the New York Times and referenced in Blake Lively's complaint and her lawsuit, was the text messages that were in the same thread where Melissa Nathan admits she did not do this. And there's a text message that sarcastically jokes, oh yeah, I'm behind this. I do such a good job. And then they reference later that that Leslie Sloan, who's Blake Lively's publicist, will probably accuse them of planting these stories, which, to be fair, that story wasn't that terrible. It was just covering the backlash that Blake Lively was getting on TikTok. And Melissa Nathan, then also we saw the text messages where the article gets sent to Melissa for the first time. And she's just like, oh, wow, didn't realize this was going out there. And then that's what spearheaded this conversation about like, oh, Leslie Sloan is going to blame me for planting the story because she always blames me when anything gets planted in the press that's negative about Blake Lively, right? So again, their evidence that they've presented doesn't seem to be adding up to anything. So right now we have allegations that are unsubstantiated, that have not been proven, and that have no evidence that has been released to the public that proves any of this at all. Blake Lively just got sued again. Yes, Alex, we just reviewed that. It was from Jed Wallace. I love that Jed Wallace is actually doing it. THJ says, I do like Perez Hilton's updates because every video he keeps demoting Snake Lively. I don't like his videos because they're like 10 minutes long. I always try to keep my videos like under 2 minutes. The benchmark of any reels or TikToks that I do, I always try to keep it at 1:30 because that was Instagram's limit. So I tried to keep it within that time frame. So yeah. Meet me in this, but I can't do a 10-minute TikTok video. I just can't. Zack, people are so afraid to be honest ever since the Me Too movement that they get behind the so-called victim, even when it's obvious that the person is playing the victim. I think people just don't want to be wrong, right? I think these attorneys don't want to be on the wrong side of history. I think they don't want to end up looking like an idiot like Elaine at the end of it all. But like, it's kind of obvious to me that like, she's clearly not being honest. She's clearly misrepresenting a lot of these issues or a lot of these claims that she's making. What about Ryan Reynolds' stunt signing posters he paid for in the New York? I covered that yesterday, and we also cover it more in depth on the Hollywood Raw podcast, which I believe dropped this morning. So be sure to tune in. I was a guest with Dax and Adam on the Hollywood Raw podcast that I believe is out now. Let me confirm that. Hollywood Raw. Yep. Yep. Here it is. We deep dive into Justin Baldoni's new website with the help of Zack Peter. There you guys go. With the help of Zack Peter. So go to the Hollywood Raw podcast, go leave them a nice review, go leave them some comments, say, oh my God, I love Zack. OMG, Zack is the bomb.com. They're not like us. They're not like us. They're not. Oh, wow, they linked to my Twitter. I'm surprised they linked to my Twitter. So yeah. That's where we're at with it. Bum, bada, bum, 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 bum. So that's the NewsNation clip. We talked about Armie Hammer. We talked about the new lawsuit against Blake Lively from Jed Wallace. And we talked about a simple favor too. Another simple favor. X-Lady09 says, Zack, what is your take on nobody else coming forward to corroborate Blake's complaints that harassment was happening on set? Blake said other people reported the claims too. Well, according to Wayfair, there was only one HR complaint that was filed throughout the duration of production. And it had nothing to do with Blake Lively or Justin Baldoni. It was two other colleagues, and it was a complaint about ageism on the set. Like, I guess one guy was young and one guy was older, and they had some sort of dispute, and so the HR complaint was in regards to ageism. So as of right now, that's the only reported HR complaint that Wayfair has a log of. Now, to be fair, people can say, oh, well, they probably omitted any, harassment claims that Blake Lively made because they want to shut her up, and this is retaliation, and yada, yada, yada. So I can see that argument as well. But as of right now, they're claiming that there aren't any other HR complaints that they can track. So what Blake Lively would have to do is make sure she has text messages or emails where she's reporting this harassment. It'll be interesting because if that were the case, they claim that there are more evidence that they have more evidence that they can release, but we haven't seen any of that. And I'm curious as to why, if they were able to put all of these out of context text messages in a New York Times article, then why didn't they put together the actual log of, HR complaints? I would think that would be a very easy thing that they would have, right? You would have emails, you would have text messages with timestamps and dates saying this happened on this date, or, hey, Sony, I'm uncomfortable because of this particular situation. Like, we would have a log of all of that stuff. You would think, if this was something, again, harassment is something that is pervasive. And so if this was persistent, pervasive behavior that was going on throughout the duration of production, I don't understand how they have not been able to provide that. According to Sony, there were no complaints either. Yes, I believe that's true. Now, their claims were that Sony wasn't in charge of tracking the HR complaints, that it was Wayfair and Baldoni's team because they were the ones producing the film, and Sony was just the financer. Sony was just the backer, right? I don't know. We'll see. We shall see. You mean that same text message where she hints to toothless blowjobs? I mean, it's so funny, the text message. I noticed that my reading of the text message has gone viral online on Instagram. And I found, or on Instagram and on X, Twitter. But I find it interesting because some people are reading, they're just like, she's clearly talking about her character. Like, she's absolutely not talking about, she's not talking about giving blowjobs that are toothless, right? They're not BJs. And I was like, well, but she says that like ball busting is her love language. She offers to act out the scene in front of Baldoni. Even just using the terms flirty and yummy are just not the most appropriate terms to, one, send to your boss, two, send to somebody that is married, especially when you're married. Like, two married people don't need to be writing text messages using the words yummy or never with any teeth. And some people are like, well, she's just saying never with any teeth to say she's not aggressive, right? Like, it wasn't a BJ reference. It just means that, like, she can bust your chops without having to use teeth. Like, she's just being friendly, she doesn't have teeth. And I'm just like, yes, but like the innuendos in that message, flirty, yummy, playfully bold, never with teeth. Like, it's very much dancing on that fine line. Like, you're kind of setting it up to where it could kind of be platonic. But like, let me ask you this. How many of you are texting your boss about your love language being yummy? How many of you are telling your boss, hey boss, I have the report. I can show it to you when I I can show it to you when I see you next week, or I can just perform it for you right now. Like, what? Like, and then you're saying that, like, this, oh my God, the financial reports I put together for you are just so yummy. They're so yummy and so playfully bold. I have this marketing campaign is so playfully bold, and it's a little flirty and yummy. It's my love language. Like, what? That is not her talking about Lily. She didn't say that flirty and yummy are Lily's love language. She said they're my love language. As in that flirty, rapport. So yeah. Dun dun dun. Yeah, see, people are saying they would never send that to their boss. Never, never. Yeah, and also no teeth to your boss is insane. Exactly, because that's what she's trying to say. Like, he was the boss, like he had the power. And oh my God, I was just like this actress that had, I have no power. I got Armie Hammer fired on the set of Gossip Girl, but I have no power. He's the boss. He's my boss. But yet I was texting him about having no teeth. Like, that is what, how many of you are texting your bosses about no teeth? How many of you, if you saw your spouse or your partner text that message to their boss, tell me that? It's wild. She's not an accountant, though. No, she's not an accountant. She's an actress. So she was just acting like she's interested in him. Got it. It shows that she doesn't even know the character of Lily. Well, she never read the book, remember? Yeah. P. Mahone says they've never shared their love language with anyone, let alone your boss. That's inappropriate. You don't do that in the workplace. Thank you. I'm glad some people know how to use their critical thinking skills and have, solid reading comprehension skills as well. Michelle says, if my man texts anyone that, he truly would have no teeth when I was done with him. Right? Like, if this were, let's just reverse the roles. If this text message was sent from Justin Baldoni to Blake Lively, people would lose their shit. Their heads would explode. They would be like, harassment. They would be protesting in the streets if Justin Baldoni texts that to Blake Lively. The blatant hypocrisy and the bullshit. It's like Blake Lively is literally shitting out her stool, and you're like, let me eat her bullshit. Let me eat it because I'm, an Amber Heard stan. It's wild. Diane Power says, my boss would lose her shit, right? Minion 11 says, ball busting and no teeth should not be used in the same sentence unless she's soliciting personal services to him. Exactly. Soon says, Blake also filed a harassment claim against her makeup artist during Gossip Girl. Yes, we've discussed that on the show too. So, yeah. Nicolette said, he said boob, and then they had a heart. Yeah, he used the word boob. And again, the context in which he used the word boob was, you probably have a kid on your boob right now, as in you're probably breastfeeding, and that's why you're up late, and texting me so late is because you're probably in the middle of the night breastfeeding your infant son. He literally used the word boob, which is technically a body part. She says no teeth, and people are like, nah, she was talking about Lily. Lily never uses teeth. Lily doesn't use teeth, and Lily has no gag reflexes. And people are like, she's just talking about her character. Lily knows how to put her legs behind her neck and shoot ping pong balls out of her coochie, but that's just her character, Lily. She can perform that, but she's just playing as Lily. It was just wild. Yeah, it's not like he said nice boob. Right, he didn't say nice boobs. He said he was referencing the breastfeeding, Is wild. As much as his choice of words made me cringe, it wasn't an innuendo. Not his words, but her words could have definitely been construed as an innuendo. Lily has no teeth, but she has red bottoms. She's toothless, not homeless. Ryan went out and went on about his perineum. Yeah, exactly. Izzy B said, Zack, I'm a 73-year-old, and at my first job, I was harassed by my 75-year-old boss. I was only 23 at the time, and it scared me to death. Did he have no teeth? That would be a scary picture, too. But I'm sorry, my love. I didn't mean to make a joke. I was just trying to bring some levity to a heavy subject. But I'm sorry you went through that. I'm sorry you experienced that. Listen, nobody should ever experience harassment in the workplace. Like, you have to go to work, right? Like, you have to be working to earn a paycheck to provide for your family, to provide for, to pay rent, to buy groceries, whatever. Nobody should have to experience that. And then the unfortunate part is people do experience stuff like this every day. People like Blake Lively just come in and hijack that, Minion said he was 73. How did he get it up? It's called Viagra. This woman is unoffendable by boobs. She's all over the place. That offended her. Well, she didn't say that term offended her. The internet ran with that. And then they forgot that she did the radio interview where she said that she was going to make a boob cake for her baby. So, again, double standards. Double standards. Double standards. Double standards. Okay, so I think we covered all of the... We talked about a Simple Favor 2, Armie Hammer, NewsNation, Jed Wallace lawsuit. What else is popping off in the news? Oh, Beyonce. Speaking of double standards, Beyonce said, or not Beyonce, Beyonce's mom posted online, Miss Tina Knowles. I'm going to read you this post that she published on Instagram, because it's pretty golden. Living my life like it's golden. So obviously I've been critical of Beyonce winning the album of the year. Listen, if you want to throw her a bone and give her country album of the year, ridiculous, unwarranted. Like everybody's even saying Beyonce should have gotten a Grammy for Lemonade. Beyonce should have gotten a Grammy for or like one of her other solid albums, right? Lemonade, people really loved Lemonade. It was innovative. It was different with the surprise drop in the music video and all that stuff, right? Like, if anything, Lemonade could have been the album that she got it for because it made waves. Her Cowboy Carter album is terrible. Again, anybody twisting themselves in a pretzel to be like, yeah, she totally deserved it for that random country album that she did that one time when it wasn't even that good. Her rendition of Jolene was terrible. So yeah, but Mama Knowles went online and she said, in years past, not that anybody cared, I decided to not attend the Grammys. You're right, Tina Knowles, nobody cared. Not just because of my daughter, but because I felt like there was not equal respect or fair treatment for Black artists, even though we have a number of very talented Black artists that win Grammys every year. Okay. That they could never perform there, use the incredible talent, and make the Grammys have great ratings, or they could put the camera in their face when they lost as entertainment. But I have to commend the Academy. I have to commend the Academy that in the most racist times, with all the pressure being on everyone to do away with or not celebrate excellence or the exceptional accomplishment of Black people, they stepped up and did the right thing. It took a lot of courage and integrity to do that. I was moved by the speech of the head of the Academy, Mr. Harvey Mason, and his candidates and the desires to change. So thank you, Grammys, for being bold and being brave and for doing the right thing. Is doing the right thing giving your daughter an award she didn't earn? Because again, and I went into this hard on the Pop Report today, if we're going solely based off of talent, Billie Eilish should have gotten Album of the Year, right? Billie Eilish dropped a banger. If we're going solely based on pop culture moments, it could have very easily gone to Sabrina Carpenter, right? Bangers. If we're going based off of pop culture influence and top charts, should have gone to Charli XCX. She had Brat Summer. She made Kamala Harris Brat. It was part of the presidential campaign. Like, Brat Summer and the whole Brat movement was a moment. It slapped hard. It wasn't that Cars for Kids single that Beyonce put out there with the "This ain't Texas, ain't no hold up," And or if it's going based off of success and streams, then it should have gone to Taylor Swift's shitty album, Tortured Poets. So Billie Eilish definitely earns that. If it's based off of streams and performance, Taylor Swift earned that because she dropped that album how many times? And she tried to keep Billie off of the charts and she tried to keep Charli off of the charts because every time they had a debut, she would then drop another version of Tortured Poets to try and bump them from reaching the top spot. So it wasn't based off of merit and it wasn't based off of talent because Beyonce is a beautiful, full of merit, full of talent woman that has shown us she can perform, that has shown us she has music that is that are bangers, right? She's released some solid albums, some solid singles. And yes, I will agree with you. Beyonce has been snubbed in the past. She definitely has deserved, Album of the Year in the past, and she was snubbed. But just because she was snubbed before doesn't mean she deserves a participation trophy now. Sorry, not sorry. Gonna say it, gonna put it 10 toes down. I stand on that. And then for Beyonce's mom to say that the Grammys is bold because this is in the most racist times. We're saying 2025, fresh after having the first Black president of the United States, fresh off having the first Black female vice president of the United States. This is the most racist times, right? Like, let's forget. Are we just going to skip over the slavery chapter? Are we going to jump right past the segregation chapter? Like, how is 2025 the most racist times? Like, come on. Come on. This was a totally fixed award for Beyonce to win. You know, there are plenty of Black artists that do country music and do it well, right? That could have very easily deserved country album of the year. It's wild to me. Kamala's not Black. Well, she identified at that. That's why I went there, right? She says she was, you know, whatever. But it's just like, really, Tina Knowles? Like, do you like, what are you, Blake Lively? You think we're gonna buy your bullshit too? Like, come on. Beyonce is talented, and there are people that really enjoyed Cowboy Carter. I don't want to discount that people liked Cowboy Carter. Personally, I don't think it was her best body of work, right? I just don't think, you know, country was something necessary that she's talented. And listen, country artists don't do, you know, they're not often jumping into rap or jumping into hip hop or jumping into pop music, right? I mean, sometimes we see pop is probably the easiest genre to get into because you just have to like have the right beat and the right auto tune and you can make it slap, right? But like there are just certain, you know, I don't want to say stay in your lane, not specific to Beyonce, but like in general, I don't want to say stay in your lane because I think we've had artists like Miley Cyrus who have come out and been able to bend those boundaries of what genres are supposed to be. We've seen Miley go from country and pop and hip hop and electronic. Remember, she had Miley Cyrus and her Dead Pets. Like, she's absolutely, you know, been able to bend the genres, but not everybody can do that. So I just think it's strange for Mama Knowles to come out here and say that the Grammys did something that was bold and brave in literally 2025. 2025 is the most racist times, is wild, considering we had slavery, we had segregation. There was a point when, you know, the Black community was not able to cast a vote. And yet buying Beyonce an award is, you know, bold and noble. Sorry, Mama Knowles, we ain't buying it. Flexi Fam says, I'm not Black, so I don't have an opinion, and I feel like the statement of the most racist times in our nation is up to Black people, but I see your point. No, racism is something that happens across the board, right? Like, if you want to be racist against me for my Hispanic culture, like that's also a form of racism. Like, it's across the board. And we've come so far from that, you know? I mean, even the protests that are going on right now in response to what people perceive as our new immigration policies, which again, nobody protested them when our first Black president, Barack Obama, was out there with really strict immigration policies, but whatever, that's another subject for another time. But like, that alone tells you how far we've come from the days of true racism. The fact that people are marching out, in whether you agree with the protests or not, and I've been highly critical of them, but whether you agree with people marching and blocking the freeways right now or not, that is a testament to how far we've come to see people of multiple backgrounds appreciating the melting pot that our country has become. And so for them to go out there and march on behalf of other cultures tells you how much we have come so far from the days of slavery and segregation. So August says people can't handle the truth. Well, I just think people like to alter the truth to fit whatever narrative that they want to bring to the table, right? And it's not living in reality, you know? So there you go, you know? I mean, listen, we all can have an opinion about racism, especially if we're accused of it. You can absolutely have an opinion about racism. Does that mean that some people may suffer it more, at greater lanes than others? Absolutely. But I mean, come on, Beyonce, one of the top performing female Black artists in our country that has reached a number of benchmarks. You're going to tell me that people don't like her because they're racist? Like, come on. Beyonce's been so successful. I love Beyonce. I loved her when she was a Destiny's Child. She did an incredible job when she went solo. I named and sang a number of her songs on the show yesterday. So, I don't know. Stop downplaying what's resurfacing. It only resurfaces if you allow it to resurface. But when you always view things from the lens of racism, then you are constantly making yourself the perpetual victim, and you're creating that reality in front of you. So if you choose to see the world that way, you will only continue to magnify that, because that's only what you focus on, right? When you forget about how far we've come, it's like even from the gay community, right? That's been a big topic of conversation lately too. And I'm just like, do you guys not realize what a privilege it is to live here in our country and to be openly gay when there are third world countries where you can be prosecuted for being gay? Like, that's a real thing that's still happening today. And our biggest complaint right now is that we're removing pronouns from our emails. Like, come on, it's ridiculous. I'm so like, I sometimes I feel like I just fell out of a coconut tree. We're so tired of the overuse of racism remarks. Yeah, that's the thing, is unfortunately what happened is we diluted that argument so much over the last 5 years, because that term was just thrown around left and right, left and right, left and right. This is racist. You're racist. You don't like Beyonce. It's because it's rooted in racism. When it's like, what? But I was always a Beyonce fan before. And you dilute that argument so much that it just completely abolishes what that means. And the unfortunate part is racism is real. Racism does still exist today. Even though we have come so far, there are people that are still inherently racist in their bones. And that is still something that will still continue to be a thing in the future, I'm sure. Some people just have hatred in their hearts. Unfortunately, though, I can't. Trump supporters despise anyone who belongs to the LGBTQ plus category. I don't feel that way, including gay men. Sorry, Moans, as a gay man, as a gay Hispanic man, I personally don't feel that way. Because in having conversations with people, because I think that's what we need to do more of, is have conversations with people that maybe disagree with us. And it was by me sitting down with people that were diehard Trump supporters or that were MAGA supporters, again, which I don't identify with MAGA at all, but by having conversations with them and listening to them and trying to be like, well, what is your reason for defending this man or wanting to vote for this man? And then just by having those conversations, immediately people started lumping me into that. And I was like, hold on, wait a minute, because these people are willing to sit down with me, right? We want to call them racist and all these things, but these people are willing to sit down with me as a Hispanic gay man and hear me out and have a conversation with me. And maybe we're not going to agree on everything. And maybe there are some policy things that we do agree on, but they're willing to politely sit down and have a respectful and kind conversation with me despite our differences and be able to come to some common ground, where unfortunately I don't see that on the left. And I don't see that with people that are so anti-Trump. Unfortunately, it's just a lot of nasty. I mean, me even saying that I have conversations with people that happen to be MAGA, immediately the left is like, you're MAGA, you're crazy, you're voting against your self-interest, you're whatever they want to say, you're racist, whatever they want to say about me. And it's just like, wow. It's just crazy, because when you see it on the front lines with the people that you talk to and you see the different response from people that lean more right or more center, and then the people that lean left, is wild. Respectfully, that's not the experience most people have. Unfortunately, I don't believe that to be true, because the more I talk to people on both sides, that's more. But I mean, the fact that so many people aren't even willing to have those conversations, you can't tell me that it's the right that's being rejected, that's not being receptive to that. Because again, I have a show that people watch here every day. So I like to listen to all viewpoints. I like to listen to people that are extreme right and extreme left, and people that are in the middle that can relate to me a little bit more. And my experience, I talk to a lot of people in my DMs, and the comments that I get, and it's enlightening when people are willing to do that. Look at, see, Susie or Julie D in the live chat says, I like Trump and I'm pro-trans and pro-gay. And unfortunately, people like Julie exist a lot more than people want you to believe that they do. So yeah. Soon says that's why more people are registering as independents. Yeah, I'm registered as an independent. I just don't align. I'm like, I can't say I'm a Republican, but I also definitely think it's embarrassing at this point to be a Democrat because they're just so hysterical about everything that it's like, So, all due respect, you dismiss immediately opinions that are not going in your way. Do you have an example of that? Because I mean, listen, I'm always open. And when people give me that feedback and they say that I dismiss opinions that don't align with mine, I mean, there's a situation like Blake Lively, right? Where I'm going to dismiss somebody that's Team Blake when there's objective evidence and footage and emails and text messages and an abundance of that dispute that, right? I'm not going to fight back against an objective reality that we can see before our own eyes. So, yeah. Bullying is unacceptable, though. I agree on both sides. I think bullying is absolutely unacceptable. I'm new and realizing I love him too. Listen, and that's your prerogative. All right, because it's not seen as being cool or popular to be Dem, so now everyone is skirting. I mean, I don't know. I use my brain. That's all I can say. Mallory says, I think you can toe the line in engaging in toxic positivity, Zach, when you're saying that you can choose to not see things as racism or prejudice and attack against a specific group. I'm not saying that those attacks aren't real, right? But I'm saying that like racism is so real and still prevalent in today's age. I'm not saying that it's extinct, right? But the way that we've weaponized that and overused that term has unfortunately diluted those arguments so much so that it tunes people out. And it defeats the purpose of actually being able to have a valid claim against that. You're formulating opinions based on your own experiences, which fortunately have been positive, but for folks in the rest of the country, that's not a common experience with that crowd. Listen, you may have a different experience. I'm not trying to diminish your experience. I'm only speaking to my experience. But again, the audience that I talk to every single day is not Los Angeles. I call out Los Angeles and Hollywood all the time for how fake and virtue signally it is. But the people that I speak to are from all over the country. When I was on tour, I mean, the people that support me and that came to my shows when I was on tour in 2022 and 2023, all over, right? Illinois, Tennessee, we went to the South, we went to the East Coast, did the West Coast. Like I've talked to a number of different people. I have an international audience that watches this show from all around the world. So when they're talking to me, I, defer to them when they want to share their experience. They're the experts of what's going on in the South or the West or the East or up North. They're the ones that are telling me what's happening. I trust them more than I trust my own personal opinion or experiences. I mean, obviously, yes, I trust my own experiences for sure. And that's definitely a factor in it. Jenna says, you are effing fabulous. I love your quick wit. Thank you, Jen. Okay. Thank you guys for tuning in. I love you. I appreciate you. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your Wednesday. Lots more Blake and Baldoni tea to come. Lots to come. I guess some other bits that I tried to get to, or that were in my notes that I didn't get to. Bravo announced that Love Hotel, which is the show with Shannon Bedore, remember Shannon Bedore and Joel Kim Booster got into the beef. That's coming soon. The Valley, they released a new teaser for The Valley. That's coming soon to Bravo. And then we got an official trailer for Denise Richards and Her Wild Things, which is coming this March on Bravo, which is interesting because it was originally supposed to air on E! And now it's on Bravo. We have cameos from Erica Jane, Garcelle, Sutton, Kathy. So stay tuned for that. Denise Richards and Her Wild Things comes to Bravo this March. And then coming soon, we have the new season of The Valley. And we have the premiere for Love Hotel, which I believe is coming. To Peacock. So stay tuned. Those are coming. All right, guys. I love you. I appreciate you. Have a great rest of your day. I'll be back tomorrow. Hit the like button on your way out. Leave a review if you're enjoying the show, right? I appreciate you. I love you. I thank you for weighing in, even if we disagree. Yeah. All right. Thanks, guys. Talk to you later. Ciao for now. Goodbye for now to you, my friends. Until we meet again.